So Leilani Cauthen here, CEO of Learning Counsel News Media and Research, and I'm in Kansas City, Missouri. It's October 10th for our Learning Logistics and Tech Tour with my friend Dr. Ivy Nelson from
the Belton School District, Instructional Technology Manager.
Yes. And I've known you for a long time. You just got your doctorate, which I was super proud of you. And I was really, really proud of your whole thesis and everything that you did there. And I could go for hours talking about that, but I want to go good news. So we're going to talk to you guys who are watching this right now about the good news that's going around in education, because everyone knows me talking about like, hey, there's some pretty dire statistics showing things happening. But there are places that are doing such amazing things and still growing, and you're still growing as a district, right?
Yes. So we had an increase in enrollment. So several years ago, I know we were projected to decrease enrollment significantly.
Yes.
And so kind of bracing for that, but then post-pandemic, we've actually seen an increase in our enrollment. So
do you feel that was a recovery of kids who you lost and they got back, or is this just immigration, or people left other states and moved here, or they just had a bunch of babies?
Possibly. I mean, possibly all of that. I'm not sure what statistics we have on determining where exactly that increase in enrollment is coming from. I know that we do our special services very well in this district, and so we have had an increase in special education students and the services that we provide for that demographic. So that has been a portion of it. But we, other than any residential development, we've had no significant residential developments or anything and that's kind of a challenge of our geographic location in this district. So that is not a contributing factor. I know that much, but yeah.
Well, I am not surprised though that it's just sort of a magical thing occurring for you, because just flying in here and then driving around here until the event, this area of the country feels new. Like it was like open green fields and trees, and then all of a sudden brand new buildings. Everything's fresh and clean. There's no like super old buildings that are, like when you go to the East Coast, they're like, 700 years old kind of thing. This is amazing, right? This whole area, and people are moving here. So I'm really not surprised that you've grown. But that also means you're probably doing a lot of good things.
We are, yes. So one of the things that I do in my specific role is oversee our program of IT interns. So our high school is part of the Ford NGL Academies model. And so in the Technology and Industry Academy, we have some classes where students actually come to our tech department as IT interns, and they intern with our technicians. They learn how to repair devices, and they do a majority of our student one-to-one device repairs and staff device repairs and those kinds of things, learning alongside our technicians, and then also earning professional certifications.
Wow.
A+ certification,
like Cisco
ITF+,
and those kind of
yes.
Things, yeah.
So Net Plus and all of those things. So that's been great. And one thing that I have a proposal for this year is to have a community repair shop. So we have a new strategic plan that's in the midst of being district approved, board approved, and part of that is authentic, engaging learning experiences. And we're always wanting to involve the community more. So giving those authentic, engaging learning experiences. So not just we have our IT interns come, oh, it's a broken MacBook screen, here's how you fix it. They're not getting the troubleshooting. They're not getting that critical thinking
and
and
they're not
all
getting
of those
face-to-face at all.
Yeah,
so
and the customer service skills,
yes.
And yes, absolutely. So those types and the business side of it as well. So those types of skills, bringing all of that together in a way to give our students a more engaging and fruitful learning experience, but then also helping our community, because when we're doing the repair, they're only going to pay the cost of a part if that's what's needed, right?
Wow.
So, very reciprocal, beneficial relationship there.
Yeah, your community's going to love you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and here's what I'm thinking too, is this is like a skill for kids, because other than maybe talking to their friends' parents, if they go over for a birthday party or something, or their own parents, kids aren't talking to adults. So you're going to put them in a situation where they actually get to talk to an actual other adult, which is a huge job skill, right? They need this courtesy. They need to learn that listening skill. And I'm hearing from a lot of teachers, every survey we do, that there's a loss of communication skill in this generation. So I think that this is going to carry a lot more water for you than you think. It's going to be really good.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
and some of the research that we read today from you guys about the alpha generation and what students today are wanting and preferring as far as communicating and that kind of stuff. And it's like, well, how do we meet what our students' preferences are, but then also teaching them that skill of having that face-to-face communication and
Yeah.
you know, or dealing with a difficult customer or something like that is sure to rise in their real life.
Yes, the real life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the real is that they are not going to grow up to be a computer and marry a screen. They're going to grow up to be a human and probably marry a fellow human and possibly have children and puppies. So really, this whole area, let's talk about that a little bit. This whole area that we've looked at research-wise a lot is having to do with the communication of this present generation, their patterns, or lack thereof, of ability to have actual human conversation. And we all know that they spend a lot of time on FaceTime and chat, and they don't even want their mom to call them. They'd rather just text. So the phones aren't even really used for phone status. They're used for texting and video, right? And creating those short videos. So we definitely have a disconnect there from most of the teachers who may still be lecturing, and yet these children are like, why are words coming out of your human mouth? Right? I don't understand this. So we have to address that. And I feel like just understanding what I'm talking about and opening your eyes and seeing it in this population is half the battle, right? To get education on track with saying, hey, we might need to actually have kids just sit and talk to each other. We might need to do some things differently. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, really just, all of the innovation and the it's a mind shift. And it is completely undoing what we have been doing. We are teaching the same way we were taught, and how do we completely reimagine that, not just trying to stick that square peg in that round hole, but completely redoing things. And it just, until you see it, you may not see it. Yes. Yeah.
I like the way you said that. Until you see it, you don't see it. Yeah. And I think, if you were to say, okay, let's start from scratch here. And then as adults, professionals who know their subject matters in courses, and you looked at this population and go, hey, like Kirsten said earlier, they're all playing sports. Like, it's huge. It's almost as big as the NFL. This is huge, right? And you guys with the STEM, right? This is like, that's where they live. And then you looked at them and like, oh, let's design an educational stair step for them from K through 12. I think you designed something entirely differently than what you have. But as it stands, you're trying to mutate from what you were to something else. That's harder than construction from like an open field. I would, so maybe that's a good comparison. Construction of a brand new house in an open field from, a 50-year-old house, wipe it out from the whole inside, build up, change out all the walls on the inside and all the plumbing and all the electrical. I mean, that feels harder than just build from the ground up. And that's kind of what you're saying you feel like we're doing right now, that this population needs a new building, essentially a new way we do things, but we're not building from scratch. We're running a moving thing, and the teachers are doing what they do Do you feel like they're seeing it though too?
The teachers or students?
The teachers are seeing a difference.
Yes, yes and no. I think that as educators, again, like, you know, we teach how we were taught, and this is a shift of education as we've seen it as
Yeah.
students and then as professional educators.
Yeah.
But so much of it is who we are.
Yeah.
We had a conversation earlier in one of our small groups about using AI to grade papers and give feedback on writing assignments, and hearing pushback from teachers on, are you suggesting we have AI do that? That's, it was a very personal thing to them, and it was part of their identity as an English teacher, with a red pen and marking up things and correcting grammar and giving feedback on how to improve your writing and those types of things. And so we compared it to back when we were in school, and our teachers told us, well, you're not going to walk around with a calculator in your pocket all the time. And what are we doing, right? So thinking about it in that shift of, it's okay to use the technology and the innovation that we have. We're not giving up us as educators, right? We're using it to our advantage, to our students' advantage.
To efficiency.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me equate that the way I'm thinking, because I was talking about the buildings. What you're saying is that if I built this building and I know that essentially your ability to characterize in your essay what you really meant to say is missing vocabulary or is missing something else. When I look at it versus AI looking at it, I'm very precise as a teacher. I've been doing this for 25 years. I'm going to tell you this, right? AI is going to give you 15 points, but you don't need all 15 points. I'm going to give you this, okay? That's the level of teaching skill you're talking about. They're living in that old building. They've seen it all, right? They've seen the plumbing go bad, the wiring go bad. They've seen it all. They're not the new thing, which is like, hey, 15 new rooms, it's all done, and wallpaper, blah, blah, blah. That would be what AI would do. AI for them, I think they're right, would almost give them too much. Mm-hmm. And they're going to do it with more precision. But I don't know that if you didn't have a different way to ask AI that it wouldn't do it with more precision, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know that either. Mm-hmm. But I understand where they're coming from. I just wonder if they see the difference in the way the kids are being. Like, do they see that they're getting kids that are completely different than previous generations in their habits and their culture, and how much adaptation they have to do as a teacher? Are they talking about that to you guys?
Well, and I mean, absolutely. So our secondary schools have instituted a zero tolerance policy now for personal devices.
Oh, for personal devices.
So that has been a huge shift.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so something that, a decade ago wasn't an issue, and even, so many years ago wasn't as big of an issue. And now it's like, this is a total roadblock to, when you're here, pay attention, listen to the things that teachers have to say, and then
go from there.
Mm-hmm. So that's been one big change for those secondary grades, especially just this year in our district.
Well, you've been lucky to still be growing, but the fact that you're still looking at like how you could be and thinking about mm-hmm. that's huge as a leadership issue, because I don't see that happening with leaders all over the nation. I see a lot of leaders who aren't thinking about where everything is going and leading all of the sheep that direction, all of their flock, so to speak. I shouldn't say sheep, should mm-hmm. I? Flock. That'd be rude. So they're just carrying forward what they've always had, trying to do it without getting into trouble in any direction, and being financially responsible, and maybe doing a few nifty tweaks. There honestly is not a lot of leadership that's saying, I'm looking at all the trends and I see the meaningfulness of those, and I'm going to right this ship going this way, right? Let's everybody get on board, but without doing it to overwhelm them, because no one needs more work. They just need to know they can have faith in this leader, that we're all going the right direction. We're not going to, the world isn't flat. We're not going to fall off, right? Like if you sail us that way. And that's a really positive thing, because honestly, Ivy, I think there's a lot of leadership in your position, overall instructional technology, but also the superintendent level, where they're just struggling to stay afloat because they're bleeding out kids.
Absolutely. And that's a struggle for, principals, and we have a lot of new building administrators this year in our district too. That transformational leadership, and you're trying to do something to really impact change and have a lasting, effective change, right?
Right.
But it's so much of that day-to-day
grind.
Yes, that is just so time consuming. And so how do you as a leader not get bogged down by that, stay afloat, as you put it, right? And impact that change. And yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know that I wouldn't be the same, right? Like if I was in a position where the ship was basically sinking beneath me, like I was a big district with maybe 100,000 kids, and then I just lost 20,000 trying to go back to school this September, I would be probably losing my mind a little bit. Like, what happened? And I can't get the teachers I need, and I've got absenteeism rates off the charts. I would probably be a little bit like, close that one over there, do this over here, squish this, or get that teacher to come over here, blah. Okay, we can't get us certified, we got to figure out something else, right? I would be in the hectic mode, I think. And I probably wouldn't be going, wait a second, how do I lead through this? Very, you know what I mean? I'd be a little freaked out. Just honestly, that's probably what I would probably be doing the same thing. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's go back to positives.
Right, yeah.
Let's do positives. So what's really great about this area of the country is you have some growth. I think some of the other districts might be struggling, some of the ones we talked with today, doing some things. But the rest of the country is definitely a struggle mode. There's still some positivity in terms of like, okay, you're back to school. The kids are coming in. I know there's one principal that was the younger kids. A lot of kids have IEPs, but you're managing. So there's a positivity in that. And somehow you guys have gotten enough teachers, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know how you did it. Mm-hmm. little sprinkle of fairy dust and magic. Anything else you want to say about the positivity of that?
I think just, as Dr. Mock, our assistant superintendent, said earlier too, that retention is recruitment, right? And we can go and we can recruit, but as long as we're consistently losing teachers, and there's going to be retirees every year, and that's unavoidable. But if we can retain our staff, if we can, and that's what I feel like in, if you go to our website and look at our human resources page, we have a video about why people love to be here, and having that belonging, and having that, that community and that pride is something that is so important with that piece of, we come here and, I came here, right. And I out of Kansas City districts, which I grew up outside of Kansas City, and I was not familiar with the Belton School District at all, and took a chance, and this is my 10th year now in the district, and I love it, and I bring my kids here, and proud to be Pirates. So having that sense of belonging and ownership, right, to want to stay, and then to, that's a recruitment in itself too, is that not only are you keeping your people, but they're bringing in people, and incentivizing.
It's a growing family.
Yes, exactly. Incentivizing that if I have a friend from another district and we have an opening that I think they would be great for, you're talking it up, you're bringing people, and bringing good people in. And so that I think is a lot of it here.
Yeah, that's a really positive way to recruit too. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this has been fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to wrap us up then.
Yes.
So here we are. I'll be leaving Kansas City. I think my next stop is Dallas. And thank you, Dr. Nelson, for
Thank
being
you.
with me today. And thank you, everyone else, for being with us today. Let's give her a big round of applause. Thank you very much.